So let me give you some examples of your patterns, because these are just normal patterns that all of us probably have had one or more of these. How about the pattern of you get infatuated, over-interested, ransom your life, and you lose interest in everything in your whole life because you're just obsessed with this person. And then the pattern goes from there. And then it doesn't work out. And then the next one is the same way. Maybe it's time to analyze that pattern and say, maybe I get too over-invested too soon, and what in me is causing that? Number 2, you like somebody, and there's one slight rejection, and then you move away. One of the things I hear from women all the time, especially in the Christian community, guys, listen to this. You know what they complain about? And women, raise your hand if you have seen this true. Is that men, for whatever reason, are not, they're passive and don't really initiate and ask the women out. Have you seen this to be true, women? Okay, there you are. I have a chapter in the new book called Where's the Testosterone? I'm serious. And what I find is that men who successfully date, they're just like the lady who emailed a moment ago. They're active initiators. They're not dominators and control freak psychos, but they actively initiate. But here's what happens a lot of times with men. I'll speak to you for a moment. That they'll start to initiate, and women are weird. They're just a strange species. Okay? And women can do stuff that, A, makes you feel like they're rejecting you and they're not. Or B, maybe they're rejecting you. So what? Win them over. C, maybe they are, shy or whatever it is. The point is, many people who get to successful dating relationships, if the guy can't overcome a little rejection, he's not going to make it a lot of times. Because women are weird and they'll make you feel awful. That's their job. Guys, don't they do that? They do that. And they'll be coy and they'll be gamey and they'll be this, that, and the other. And if a guy's ego is such that he can't handle a little rejection and then backs away, there's a pattern of that. And I talk to guys who have to get over that. Okay, that's a pattern. A little rejection, one obstacle, and they bail out. It's a war out there. You got to be ready for the battle. Okay? But the point is, just a little rejection, a little conflict. There's 8,000 reasons for that. A lot of times somebody's coming off a bad relationship, for example. And they've never met a person as good as you, or as loving as you, or as respectful as you. And they might be a little shy, or withdraw, or kind of put you off or something. And yet, if one little rejection or something causes you to not call them back or not try again, then you can look back and if there's a pattern of that, then you figure, gosh, maybe I need to overcome that a little bit. And there's 8,000 of these, but these are some of the more common ones. The next one is start dating someone and instantly pull yourself out of the game. This is one of the worst patterns that I see. It's when people are, what would be the term? They're serially monogamous daters. Where they date and they kind of instantly kind of get into a relationship without dating a lot of different people. You should really get into a relationship because somebody stands out in the crowd. But if there's no crowd, anybody stands out. Right? And so what some people do is they just glob on to whoever is next, and then that doesn't work out because they're not expanding themselves and meeting a lot of people and this, that, and the other. And then that doesn't work, and then they go to the next one. And there's this serial kind of one bad relationship after another, but there's never a dating picture where they're meeting a lot of people, going out as friends, having a lot of different kinds of experiences, etc. And then the next one is that something bad happens and they just kind of disappear into the black hole. There's a rejection or a loss or a breakup and they go down for the count and don't really go through the healing I talked about a moment ago. And then they're back out there and they do it again. Or they get infatuated with somebody. Another pattern is they get infatuated with somebody and they don't even see the problems in the person because they tend to idealize them. And they don't see the strengths and the weaknesses. Or they, as we'll see later, too much too soon. They give up their boundaries way too quickly in a relationship. So again, we're only limited by our depravity in how screwed up how many different ways we can be screwed up as humans. We're finite, so we can only have a certain number of dysfunctional patterns because there's only so many hours in the day. But what you'll find is, in your dating history, you have a pattern or two. You hear it all the time. Well, a lot of women would say, well, I'm really drawn to the bad boy. Okay, why? Why is that? What is it about you that, finds that life-giving in some way? Or I talked to a guy who he finally learned that he had a pattern. And the pattern was this, that when he would start to go out with a new woman, he would sort of gain interest when she took control, when she was assertive, when she made the decision or something. He would find himself sort of coming to life. Well, what happened was he had a series of really, really falling in love with ultra-controlling women. But it wouldn't feel ultra-controlling in the beginning. It would cause him to really kind of come alive and like her. He liked the strong woman. What he didn't see was she was Godzilla under the curls. But that initial kind of strength. Well, why was that? And finally, what I got him to see was this is a pattern. And the attraction to a strong woman was to complement his own passivity. And when he began to get more assertive and stronger, then he could actually be attracted to a balanced woman who was assertive but didn't have to be a control freak. And see, again, we're going back to the health and the spiritual vitality of you and getting your patterns worked out and taking ownership of your issues, and then you tend to date different kinds of people.